Everyone's attention, please. The time is 5:30 p.m. This is the meeting of the Paris City Council. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and today is March 14, 2016. As usual, we will start with the invocation by Dean Anderson, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Dr. Clifford.
May we pray?
Mr. Jenkins.
Heavenly Father, we're indeed thankful for the opportunity, Father, to serve our community here tonight. We thank you for these council people and their donation of their time and their skills and their abilities, Father, to help our city be a better city. Father, we thank you for the public that's here and their interest in our government. We just pray that you guide and direct all things that happen tonight. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Lancaster is here. We do have a quorum, so.
I was going to say, I'll leave
All right. We will start with the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes unless the item is posted on the agenda. The Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city council members and employees as well as individual personnel appeals are not appropriate for the Citizens Forum. The Citizens Forum is now open. If you want to address, please come forward, write in your name and address for the record. If there is nobody wanting to speak in the Citizens Forum, the Citizens Forum is now closed. We'll move to the next agenda item, which is the consent agenda. Any of the council members have any issues with the consent agenda? No. I do want to bring one thing. I do have a question on item number 8, which is an approve an amendment to the Coxfield Hangar lease agreement with allowing for an extension of additional 5-year period. I want to find out the status of the taxes on this property. Are they up to date on the?
Yes, sir.
They were paid on all the hangars as well, or just this property?
On this particular property, yes.
Okay. Anybody has any other questions? I'll take a motion.
Well, I don't understand your question. I thought we own the property.
Yeah.
So,
There's rents and there's personal properties, and this is not a property that has anything.
right, but you're asking if the taxes are paid.
Yes.
Well, I don't
There was a hangar that taxes were not paid on.
taxes or rents?
Taxes.
Personal property is taxable there, even if it's our land.
Oh, okay, I see
Yeah.
what you're saying. Okay, I'm sorry. And are those all, yeah, and I was
Yes.
curious about that too. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
If there's no further questions on the consent agenda, I'll take a motion on this item. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Item carries. Item number 13, which is regular agenda, conduct a public hearing, discuss and act on ordinance considering the petition of City of Paris to partially update zoning ordinance number 1720 of City of Paris, including certain text, including updated zoning definition comprised of updated modifications of the selected component of the zoning ordinance and new definition for section 8. Use of land and building, special definitions and explanation noted in use regulations and new definitions and terms for section 22, general definitions within the zoning ordinance. Mr. Afrasi?
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you know, many of the sections of the zoning ordinance are quite old and outdated. The updates are recommended to assist us in our meetings with the development community, clarify vague and inappropriate language, and overall increase the development opportunities, efficiency, and timely aspects of the development process in the City of Paris. However, this is not a complete overall comprehensive update of the zoning ordinance. We have selected certain components throughout the ordinance that we feel require immediate attention, and that was included in your packet. In addition to that, the definition sections are quite old and outdated. There's two components, as you know, the definitions that describe Section 8, which refers to the actual uses listed in the zoning ordinance in section 22, which are general definitions and concept. We've updated that as well. To put it in context, in your packet, you have the existing definitions in section 8 and 22 in black, and then in blue and red respectively, showing the new ones in alphabetical order. We had several discussion sessions with the Planning and Zoning Commission, and at the last meeting, they recommend through our public hearing process that the City Council approve the document in its totality with several minor changes that we indicated to you. Be pleased to answer any questions.
Sorry, what? Don't mind.
Any questions?
How long did y'all work on this?
I beg your pardon, sir?
How long has this been being worked on?
Mr. Mine.
How long did I work on it?
Well, I mean, is this a process that started evidently several months ago, or? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it had started 2 years ago, or?
No,
No, it's something we talked about a couple of years ago. We started a few months ago.
about 4 months. Took me about 4 months.
I think
Good job.
I think it was discussed when we started having issues with the recycling thing.
Oh,
That's when we were first,
recycling depot?
yeah,
Okay.
that's when the issues came up on concerns on what each of these
Yeah.
things mean.
No, I think it's great.
Thank you so much.
So the public hearing is now open. Anyone wants to speak for or against, please come forward, write your name and address for the record. If there's nobody wanting to speak, the public hearing is now closed. Is this a motion item for this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Item number 14, conduct a
you.
public hearing, discuss act on ordinances considering the petition of Derek Hubbard on behalf of Fan 9 for a change in zoning from general retail district to a general retail district with a specific use permit for a tattoo shop on City Block 315, Lot 13, located 4225 Lamar Avenue, Suite D, and comprising 1.745 acres. Mr. Efrasi.
Thank you. This is a proposed rezoning for a tattoo shop in a building that includes 3 or 4 one-story suites just east of the Loop, north 24 northeast, off of Lamar. It's a relatively small building with some commercial uses just to the west, and behind it, off on the north side of Lamar, are residential uses, including single-family and duplex. Across on the south side of Lamar, are commercial-oriented uses.
Mr. Efrasi, can I stop you for
Yes,
just a second?
absolutely.
You remember when we were discussing various ordinances, there was a discussion done about, specifically about tattoo shops.
I wasn't here, but I'm totally aware of this.
Okay, does this conform to all those requirements that we had decided to do on tattoo shops?
Well, what we have on the tattoo shop was now a definition, but in the ordinance that was approved by the council in July of last year, there's just certain specific sections of what a definition is, et cetera. There were not a whole range of requirements, except what districts they could be in. We're going to amplify that based on our recommendation here.
Okay,
The staff, as a footnote, the development review staff, Public Works, Engineering, Building, and
City
Planning
attorney?
didn't have a problem with this.
city attorney? Okay,
Uh,
so you recommend it?
Well, with one exception, sir, that as part of your approval through the specific use permit, that the Texas Health and Safety Code, Chapter 146, entitled Tattoo and Body Piercing Studios, must be adhered to. It's a very extensive requirement. We are recommending strongly that this become a condition of approval, which you can do because it's a specific use permit.
Okay. Public hearing is now open. Anyone wanting to speak for or against, please come forward, write your name and address for the record. If there's nobody wanting to speak for or against, the public hearing is closed. Any of the council members have any questions?
What is this close to? I'm not. What
Yes,
other
sir.
buildings is it close to?
I'm sorry?
What other buildings is this close to?
Oh, It's pretty isolated in the back of a piece of property. To the west, directly west, Mr. Jenkins, are one-story commercial office buildings. To the east of it is a planned development, unbuilt, zoning approval for housing and retail shopping, and beyond that is vacant property.
Alan, is this area here, is this the furniture store?
Do you know where House Jewelry is, Aaron?
I
It's
think
next
that
door.
is.
It's that yellow buildings that are down,
Okay.
and you gotta go down to get to them. That's where they're, where
The
Jamie
green
Carter used to have an art gallery there.
Who had the art gallery there?
Jamie Carter.
Jamie Carter.
The green square, of course, is the property and is to the northeast, to the northwest quadrant of the green outline property. But the subject property itself is buffered by 24th and then use other commercials to the west and then some residential property.
Thank you. Is there any other council?
I have one quick question. Are
Yes,
the
sir.
other tattoo parlors required to abide by the Texas Health and Safety Code as well, or is this the first one we've required that of?
The only code that's required is the health code, Dr. Clifford, and then they have to meet the specific use requirements as outlined in our zoning
Because,
ordinance.
so this will be in line with the other tattoo parlors then?
I think so, yes,
Okay.
sir. I
Um,
believe so, yes, sir.
You think so or you know so?
No, this is this meets the requirements of the ordinance that was passed.
I realize that, but what Dr. Clifford is saying are the other tattoo, if we are to make that motion, that it should abide by the Texas code,
Yes,
which we want to do, I
Yeah,
suppose.
yeah, we want to do that.
But by the same token, are other tattoo parlors required to be on the same Texas code or not?
this is a
And if we
separate,
don't have an answer, we should get an answer to this before.
well, no, what I can tell you, if I understand your question, Mayor, is that this just relates to tattoo and certain body piercing studios. That's what this chapter 146 relates to, only that use.
But you understand my question?
Yes, sir. It's a new requirement that we're doing starting here and into the future. In the past, we didn't even have tattoos as a separate definition within the zoning ordinance. That's a new thing we're trying to get a better hold on.
So the other tattoo parlors are not held to this standard?
That's correct. Now they are by the state, but not by
Okay.
us.
Okay, by the state, okay.
Because they're grandfathered in a sense.
Right. They've been there.
Any other questions?
Are you gonna get a tattoo?
No.
Oh, okay, that was my only question.
I don't have a, also,
I don't like needles.
Oh, great.
also in the last item, you approved the definition for tattoos, and that also was defined in the July 2015 ordinance as well.
I'll make a motion to approve with the Texas code being required as suggested.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 13, discuss an act on ordinance disannexing 2 tracts of land being a 5.025 acre tract in the Wesley Askin Survey Abstract Number 7 being lots 14 and 16 of the Wildwood Estate subdivision according to the plat of such edition recorded in envelope 321A Lamar County Plat Records in the city of Paris, Lamar County, Texas. I think we have discussed this multiple times. This is the
You've already had the 2 public hearings that were required. You can act on the ordinance
Okay,
tonight.
so I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. That was his property, correct? Yep.
This was here in Denison.
Yeah, okay. Item number 16, conduct a public hearing to discuss an ordinance re-adopting Article 3 curfew regulations for children, Chapter 21 of Code of Ordinance, City of Paris, Texas.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mayor,
Tuttle.
members of council. This ordinance is required every 3 years to be reviewed by council. We're not requesting any changes or anything to it. We're just asking for you to renew it for another 3 years.
Any questions by any council members?
Any changes you're wanting, or you've been pretty pleased with what you got?
We're pleased so far with it, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? I'm sorry.
Supposed to have a public hearing.
Was this a public hearing?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. The public hearing is now open on item number 16. Anyone wanting to speak for or against, come forward. There isn't any. So the public hearing is now closed. I'll take a motion. I'll make the motion again.
I'll
on
still
this.
second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 17, discuss and act on a change order number 1 to project B2 contract with Pritchard Construction, increasing the contract amount by $99,500. Mr. Godwin.
A number of the streets north off of Bonham, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 6 streets or so. If you've been out there, you know they're really horrible. They had water line and sewer line both, so that took up half the road when that was dug up. Turned out there was virtually no base under that, so the roads are horrible, to use a word. When we bid this thing out a year ago, the hope was we could do a less expensive, kind of really thin mix asphalt overlay. That'll be a complete waste, and we'll still have horrible roads. And so we're recommending that we do our second alternate, and we talked about this a year ago, we were hoping we wouldn't need to, but we need to. And that would be so at this point, we're recommending a change order to hot mix asphalt over the entire road surface from gutter to gutter on each of these. I think it's 6 roads.
Yes.
Any discussion on this?
What's the time frame on this? I get calls about this daily.
Yeah, well, we had hoped probably 3 to 4 weeks, but as we're finding and taking the existing asphalt out, there was no base. So we're having to bring in base, mix it, and stabilize it. So probably a couple of months by the time.
Couple of months.
Yeah, the time we get it to where they can come back and overlay.
Are the residents being informed?
Yeah, we're talking to them and going through there. Another problem we're having with is as we get these prepared and ready, the new water mains have not been put in service, so the old mains are still blowing. So then we're going back in and having leaks. So it's kind of a multi-task thing we're doing. We actually took back tees on that stuff, or going to take back tees on all that tomorrow. If they come back good, within a week or so, we'll actually start swapping the services over, kill the old mains out. We won't have the water leak problems anymore. Then it'll help us move along faster. So it's just a dang if you do and dang if you
A whole
don't.
lot of roads. It seemed like we maybe should have just done one at a time. I mean, maybe I don't understand, but it is a complete mess out there.
It is.
And the
It is.
residents are very, very upset about it.
Yeah, and working with them, I feel confident in doing this base and this asphalt change order. Long term, it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
So.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item number 18, discuss and act on public educational governmental access channel and public information. First of all, we need a motion to untable the item.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson.
Council, we first discussed this issue back in October, and we decided to postpone it and let it be reviewed a little longer. Of course, the goals, as we stated then, were to increase public transparency of city government and to provide more ready access for information through a special cable TV station, but also through some internet programming that we could tie together with that. Of course, the ultimate goal is to improve confidence and trust by the public in our local government. There were a couple of reservations expressed at the time, and I thought they were both good and valid questions that were asked. One had to do with the fact that in 2016, cable is considered an older technology, and I think that's a valid statement. But it is still used in this area and will be used in this area for the foreseeable future. It's kind of like radio. That's a very old technology, but yet most all of us still own a radio in one form or another. I think the other thing that we will try to do and will do if this is approved is to not only use the cable, but to use the same person to increase our internet information access as well, and try to mirror these two things. Whatever we do on the public information television station, we would also do on the internet, mirror those. And that kind of two-prong approach, I think we will reach most of the people in our city and somewhat beyond that. There are lots of things that it could be useful for, like this construction project that were going on for several years, water and sewer, that we could keep the public informed on that. Last month we had all the issues on the housing, different ideas of different types of housing. A lot of people stated that night that they had not heard anything about it, and this would be another way to get information to them. The other reservation expressed was the fact that it had to do, would require the addition of an employee, somebody who had the technical skill in order to bring this to part, and we don't have anybody on staff that really has that background. We talked about that quite a bit, and we think that it's a good possibility that if given a little time, that we could increase our revenues to help offset and possibly completely offset the operating expenses on this project through sponsorships and advertising, but that would take a couple of 2 to 3 years, I think, to develop that. So what I suggested in my memo to you is that maybe we try a pilot project, put a specific limit on it, so give us that time frame to try to develop the revenues to make it pay for itself. Another major advantage that I mentioned, the funds that are available for this project can't be spent on any other kind of project, so they either sit there and we don't use them, or we use them for this. We can use them for any kind of capital expenditure, which would include any equipment that we needed, but we would also be allowed to renovate the area immediately above the council, the old fire station dormitory area. If we use that for this person and had a studio up there that they would use and where they would video things, that we could use this money for that. If you've been upstairs, some of you have and some of you hadn't, it's in great need of repair. If you go outside the door here and look up at the state of the building, those windows in particular are on verge of rotting out and falling out. Those big windows right above here will cost about between $5,000 and $6,000 a piece to replace. Whether you go back with the wood frame that's in there, or whether you go back with the type of windows that we put in the other side of the building. They're both going to cost about the same. But there's a, we could use this money legally for that. And so I think we've got sort of a trade-off. If you give us an opportunity to try to build it up and let it pay for itself, even if that doesn't work out, we could take advantage of the funds that are there to do much needed renovation in the upstairs area. So I would just ask you to consider that tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Pickle?
Would we be able to video not only city council, but other boards and commissions?
Yeah, in my original presentation, I talked about the council could select any boards or commissions or PEDC or anybody else that meets in here that they wanted video. You know, we would certainly be
Would
able
that
to
be
do
live for the city council meetings?
We could directly video stream it if that's what the council wants, I think, because we talked about that possibility and think we could do that.
Dr. Clifford?
I was doing a little reading on these things. How many hours a week are they going to, I think I read 8 hours a day minimum is what's required per channel. Is that 8 hours of original programming, or what would that consist of?
It could be original programming. It could be programming that we receive from the state or the federal government on different topics that relate to the local environment, local situation. We could also run that type of information as well.
So how many hours of original programming would you think would be generated per week?
Well, I think like I say, I think we could do 8 hours original programming locally generated itself. Of course, that can
or per day.
per day.
Not per day.
And we can replace that. It doesn't have, you don't just run it one time. You know, you would have a schedule developed and you would do a repeat on a lot of that in order to keep, you know, meet that minimum. But a lot of that is just going to have to be developed as we go along.
How much money are we talking about do we have that we've collected?
We've got about $345,000.
So we've been collecting this for the last
Several years.
several years.
Yeah.
I saw the $1.54 on my bill every single month.
Yeah.
I still can't see this. I think this, you know, in today's day and age, this is archaic. And I even got on Wikipedia and looked up public access channels in Texas. 3/4 of them were dead links because they came and they went. And I think that's the natural history of these things, is they go with a bang, and then people see, and then no one watches them, and then they kind of dwindle. So,
Well, and I understand that's a valid concern, and that's why I suggested to do a pilot project and see how it worked. And if it didn't, it would have to come back automatically at the end of that time period, and you'd have to either reapprove it or shut it down. But in the worst case scenario, at least we get some renovation, much needed renovation done with that money.
Mr. Jenkins?
I mean, that was kind of my concern also. Is this person that we did hire, that was the only thing they would be doing?
Yes.
Kinda
If,
concerned with that.
I think it would take up one person basically to do that, to generate, there'd be some work out in the field, filming, things that they're going over and looking at this resurfacing of a road or laying this water line, and they're going to do a story about that. They're going to be out doing that, as well as the editing time and stuff back in the studio.
would you really watch a program if somebody resurfaced in a road?
If I lived in that area, I would.
Maybe, but I can't see I'm going to be setting my DVR to record that to make sure I don't miss it.
If you do, you need to get a lot.
I kind of think that's what everyone thinks.
I probably wouldn't watch the council meetings either, since I attend them, but you can't believe how many people will stop me and say,
And they're
I was
already on the
watching-
web right now on Vimeo. I mean, every council meeting, and I like that. And I think, other meetings, planning, zoning, PEDC, there would be some interest in that. But I can't think, set it up. I'm not sure that some of the programming, it would sound good, but I'm just not sure that many people would care to watch it. And certainly funding it with your, $1.50 every month to every person who owns cable forever, just not much in favor of it. So.
But we would get them remodeled
Well,
upstairs for the short term,
We
so.
may have spent money on something. Yeah.
Ms. Lancaster?
Well, the remodeling is attractive, but the technology seems to be rather old. I'm just not sure how effective it would be.
I'm not arguing that, but about half the population of the city roughly has cable. The other half probably has, internet, and we would take a two-pronged approach. The same person that would be doing the television part would also be upgrading and doing more on the internet. Between those two, we would reach most of the households in Paris. And not everybody, quite frankly, is technically savvy.
True.
You've got some people that,
Run from it.
they're not going to use a computer, and so you have to have a means to reach them, But there are a lot of people that aren't going to watch it on television, but that will on their computer,
But there are a lot of people that don't have computers that do watch it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
mean,
That's
I've
why
been
I think
shocked
you
at
have to
the
do
people
both
that-
approaches
Yeah,
to have a decent coverage.
at least for the short term.
Though this is not a public hearing, but Mr. Gladfelter wants to say something.
Just have a question. Could this be shared with county meetings maybe and the Board of Regents meetings at the college?
No, this is only specifically for this building,
Okay.
because they'll have to have the meetings in this very chambers, I suppose, right?
Well, I suppose if the county or the college were interested, we could probably do a remote filming of it and rebroadcast if they wanted to help share the cost of doing that. And that'd be one way we would raise money. If we had somebody else, another entity that was interested, that we would say for a certain fee, we'll come out and we'll video that and we'll broadcast that as part of our programming. But, that'd be the only way we could probably do that.
I have a few questions. 1 second, and I'll get to you in just a second. I have a couple of questions. First of all, my first question is, if there is a specific requirement of the number of hours that it has to be telecast, is that 8 hours a day?
8 hours a day.
Okay. Can we have a council meeting that lasted 2 hours be played 4 times?
I don't think that's the intent.
I realize, but
Technically, it might be correct
All right.
to do it.
So in other words, not trying to cheat the system, but can we do the remodeling, not hire anyone, and have all the meetings in this chamber broadcast multiple times through the day, so that we have covered those 8 hours? And is there an automatic system that whoever is here chairing the meeting can press the button and it gets recorded and then it gets played back, so that there is no requirement of individuals. It's on autoplay that it records and plays back on that channel.
I'd have to explore that. I don't know of the technology. We actually have to have a person to record this meeting here now. There's a person here doing it.
I realize that, but I mean, that's what I'm asking. Can it be automated, that it can be done without going through a person?
I'd have to check into that.
Okay. And Mr. Trinado, you have a question?
Yes, sir. What is the cost of this going to be? Is it will hire employees? You know, any idea?
Well, I don't think we have decided to hire an employee yet.
Okay, but I think $60,000 on this before. But I think the city might need more employees, more boots on the ground. You talk to the sheriff, the police chief, he needs more people, the EMTs, the annual needs. You know, I think that's where our need is instead of for this.
Okay.
That's just the way I feel about it.
But we don't, this money's only dedicated for this. We can't use it for anything else.
Well,
We just lose it otherwise.
Well, the operational money would have to be raised outside of that money. It can only be used for capital items. And so that's why I was proposing, if we had an opportunity to try it, that we might could raise revenues through sponsorships and advertising to cover the operational costs.
I have another question. If we don't use it, can we return the $1.54 back to the people?
I'm sure there's a mechanism to do that. What would probably happen from a practical standpoint is that Suddenlink would be allowed to reduce what they have to pay us, you know, on a quarterly basis, and it'd be offset somewhere that way. I don't know mechanically how that would work, but it'd have to be worked through Suddenlink.
Personally, I'd like to table this item and ask that you review and see if there's some automation which can be brought about, that there's no hiring of people and we can still use the money to restore or do whatever we need to do. But
could you look into webcams? I mean, you could set up a webcam that they run 24/7 some places, and there's completely attendant free. And you just log into it when you want to, and you get a stream. And I mean, that could be done in this chamber easily. The only challenge would be setting something up to record it if you chose to record it at certain times, which would certainly be a good idea.
Okay.
But a webcam would be a really inexpensive way to get, to me, that's the most important thing, or what goes on at the meetings into the people's hands. That's what I'd like to see. But as far as hiring a new employee to do it, not sure.
Okay, well, let me explore that.
Okay.
So can I make a motion to table this item temporarily?
As long as we get a commitment that just because we have 8 hours a day, but that you're not going to try to stretch out the council meetings longer than necessary.
Only during football season. Sure, go ahead.
okay, the salary for these people, no, you want to talk about that. Where does it come out of? Does it come from the general fund, or will it come?
No,
out
it will come out of, no, that salary will come out of the general
General
fund.
fund,
Yeah,
yes.
if we hire a person. Yeah. All right, so you have direction from us to look at automation and bring the item back. Okay. Item number 19, this item needs to be on table to discuss tax increment reinvestment zone, provide direction to the staff. I'll make a motion to untable this item.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A tax increment reinvestment zone, or TERS, or TIF, you've probably heard of them before. You may have talked about them here before. Paris has not had one in the past, but it's a tool to finance redevelopment in specific areas. It's downtown's the most common place they're used, and that's an area I'd like to at least consider. This is not an action item, but just to kind of bring up the idea to you and see what interest you have or don't have in it, and answer any questions you may have. But a TIF or a TERS, TIF is the old word, I tend to call it that instead of a TERS, but a TERS is set up for a specific time period. It's not an indefinite thing. It doesn't generate new money. What it does instead is it takes money that's coming in anyway from the incremental value of a development in a district and sets it aside in a special fund. So, for example, if somebody built a new store across the street, or if somebody expanded an existing store significantly, the increase in their property taxes would not go to the general fund. It would be in a separate fund, and it could only be used within that zone. The notion there is that you generate some money for different kinds of things. It may be for maintenance so that you can take care of trees or redo your roads or keep the downtown clean. for maintenance sort of things, that sort of thing. Or it can be for saved up for more of a capital project. Some cities, for example, downtowns, will do it to build a parking lot. We could use we have a lot of parking spaces, but a lot of them aren't very nice in downtown. You could do it to pave a parking lot or build a parking garage, park spaces, lighting, sidewalks, and so forth. We're doing a sidewalk, a block or two every year of sidewalks. At the current rate, we'll get there, but it's taken forever doing 2 blocks a year with CDBG money. So those are just kind of some examples of what it can be used for. Other jurisdictions can participate if they choose to. The college district, the county could participate as well and include their property taxes in that. They can choose not to as well, and probably it'd be less attractive to them to do so. You also have to have a plan in place. You can't just say, oh, we're going to just start doing this and we'll figure out what we're going to do later on. You have to have a board. It can be the city council. At first, it probably makes some sense to do that if we were to proceed. But you have to have a board. You have to have a plan in place, and then you have to have a specific timeline. It might be 5 years, it might be 20 years, some period of time. A final way that you can use the money, if you choose to do it, and a lot of cities do this too, is if you have a developer who comes along who wants to develop a significant property. It gives you something to negotiate with them. For example, if they want to build something with their funds, we don't have the funds because we're not that big or that wealthy of a city. But if they've got the funds available, they could be the ones to go on debt, and then the funds from this assessment, not assessment, that sounds like it's new money, from this TERS could be used to pay off some portion of that debt service. So it gives an opportunity to make downtown more attractive to potential developers. In fact, we've got one now that keeps asking us, how come y'all don't have a TIF? How come y'all don't have a TIF? Because I need to do some stuff and there's no way to finance it without TIF. Well, there are other ways, but TIF is a really good way to do it. So they can be pay-as-you-go, they can be bonds, they can be development deals. But again, that's kind of really all I have, just to kind of introduce the idea to you. I'd like to pursue this in some more detail, maybe develop a preliminary plan of the things we specifically could do with it, work with the city attorney to draft up a rudimentary, at least, ordinance and so forth. So on the other hand, if you have no interest at all, then we'll stop. So that's all I have.
I have some concerns, and that is when you talk about giving money to some which is arbitrary, who do you select, who do you not select? And there'll always be a loose end left on that one.
Well, let me clarify, because I didn't make myself clear at all. We're not going to give money to anybody. Let's say we want to build a beautiful new street through the middle of town, and we don't have any money. So a developer says, I'll build it for you as long as you pay me back. That's the only way a private developer would get any of the money, as a payment for work that he or she's already done for us. Yeah, this is not money you could or would or even legally can give away to anybody.
Mr. Pickle?
I like these things. I think they're a great idea. The flip side of it is that while you don't recognize any additional revenues because of the incremental value that's increasing, what you do recognize, hopefully, is increased sales taxes.
That's the goal, and even long term, you hope you generate property taxes. And the notion is, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, like any development or redevelopment notion, is that if you know you're going to do something with your property, and you know those extra property taxes you pay are going to stay in your neighborhood, on your block, or right down the street, as opposed to going to hire a public information officer, then you're maybe more likely to invest that and increase property taxes as well as sales taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Clifford?
So this just earmarks the money that's coming in from that area to stay in that area?
That's correct. And you know, compared to, I mean, to cut you off, but comparing it to tax abatements, for example, which I'm not a huge fan of, especially residential tax abatements, you're not losing any money. Tax abatements, we're encouraging people here, come build in our town and don't pay taxes for 5 years. In this case, come build in our town, and for the first 5 or 10 years, those taxes will stay in your neighborhood, but you still have to pay them.
So what do we have to do to start this if we want to?
Just tell us that you want to hear more, and we'll develop some kind of preliminary stuff.
Mr. Jenkins?
I have no questions.
Ms. Lancaster?
I would like to hear more.
Okay.
I'd like to hear more, but I am not totally sure whether I like the idea.
Okay.
I mean, I think then it's just the same thing now. We're talking about downtown. We can create another TIF zone in District 7 and say, okay, District 7 money, taxes that are coming out now need to stay in District 7, and District 6 needs to stay in District 6. I mean, what about the whole city?
Well, state law requires, you have to meet certain criteria. It has to be a depressed area, it has to be an area that requires redevelopment. So there's real specific, I think that's in the memo.
Yeah. And the second thing that I have concerns about, how much new development are you seeing in the underdeveloped part of the town?
Well, not very much, but that's why we don't want to just do nothing and do nothing. And this may not do anything. And in fact, it may be that after 3 years, we've got $17 in our account. If that happens, that happens. But nobody's costs have gone up and nothing's happened bad as a result.
I mean, I don't mind hearing about it. I'm just not sure whether I like the idea. But
Okay.
everybody wants to hear more about it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Discuss and act on curbside recycling program for the cities that is in. I'll make a motion to untable this item.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'm the one who put this item on the agenda, and there were a couple of reasons, so I want to discuss those first before we go any further with this. So first thing was that I think recycling is good for the environment, so that's priority number one. Number two was that the recycling bins that have been placed keep getting over flooded with stuff constantly. And so residents of the community who are very much into recycling have concerns about that. And what ends up happening is that once they're filled, then stuff is sitting right next to them. And over a weekend, it piles up and looks like junk very quickly. And I think in the long run, we do want to have a recycling program for the city, which is a curbside recycling program. The intention of this item was not to say that, okay, decide tomorrow and let's do recycling. So we'll hear from Mr. Godwin or from Jerry on what does recycling mean as far as curbside, what are some of the pros and cons. But one request that I have of the city and of the council is that if we can approve to get some more recycling bins or those big containers and maybe have them moved a little faster than what we do right now, at least that will be a step in the right direction. And then we can, whenever we get to curbside recycling, we can get to curbside recycling. But I certainly wanted to hear, so that in future we can discuss it further. And I'm not talking about a 10-year future, hopefully in the near future, but at least for the time being, after we get done, I do want to have a situation where the council at least approves some more of the bigger containers and maybe a little faster movement of those containers. With that said, Jerry.
Okay. We actually have another bin on order now. And
I don't think one is going to
No,
do
it's
it.
not. It's not, but now we're also, and of course, just in talking, some businesses are interested in buying bins and maybe putting them at their locations, which is what I think would be a great thing. It'd be an investment into the community, and the business is helping the community. But there's some things we've got to iron out with that even too.
Although, and let me just interject real quickly. Unless you tell us not to, our thought at this point, I mentioned to you in an email a couple of weeks ago that we had somebody that had come forward with that. Our thought is to offer that on a first come, first served basis. And so if we need two or if we need three, if somebody's going to come forward and say, hey, I'll buy one, unless it's in some horrible, crazy location nobody will ever find, they would like to go ahead and proceed with that because, again, we don't have enough bins and people are offering to buy them for the city for free in exchange for their name on the side of them. We'd like to go ahead and proceed. So that's our plan unless you guys tell me otherwise.
Yeah. And what that would do is that their facility, they could put in, a sign saying that, this is their location, their site, and of course now the bins can't be marked because the bin that's at their site gets picked up. It may end up the other site tomorrow, so so you can't mark the bins up. It'll just end up being a big billboard, and we really don't want that to happen. The good thing about the overflow is the recycle is working. I mean, people are bringing it. I mean, it's coming in. We've only had 3 contaminants. Somebody threw a dishwasher, somebody threw some PVC pipe that we had to go get out of it. But we got it out before it got to Choctaw Nation, so it was our program was not in jeopardy. And it was just the items that someone didn't realize it shouldn't be there. So that's been good. We have looked at some curbside, and it does get expensive. Right now, the market for recycle is way down. I mean, if if we hire a company to come in and pick that up, I mean, it's going to be a cost. They've got to cover their cost, and it's going to be a cost to us because they're not getting their money back. Kind of in the research, most of your recycle goes to Japan and China, and they're full. So it's just, I mean, glass is hard to get rid of and that type of stuff. So, if you want to go full blown curbside recycle with a contractor, I mean, you're looking at $670,000 a year cost to the city. Now, how that's broke up, is it mandatory for every resident? This all depends on how we set it up and what we do. There's another contractor that if we buy the trucks and we pick up the recycle and we buy the totes but we would have to take it to their facility, that is a cost of roughly, just to dump the recycle, it would cost us roughly $450, and that doesn't include the fuel cost to and from, and that's in McKinney. We've talked to Choctaw Nation, and that they have recently got back with us this week and said at this point, yes, they would take any curbside that we had at no cost. We would just have to get that curbside to them. They would not be able to do the pickup on it. A good thing about our overflow is that it has now put a mandate on Choctaw Nation. They're actually looking into buying another truck and rig so that they can service us better, so that we don't have the overflow. And when you're kind of going into this, it was trial and error and see how we done. It's been great. I mean, been a great response. We just got to clean it up a little bit and pick up.
Jerry, the amount that would be spent, is there any savings on the what do you call it, landfill?
We've actually seen a little bit of a savings on landfill. It's hard to break it down just yet because our trucks, we're calling it 11 yards on those recycle containers. They're 11 yards, but it's not compacted. It's just loose material. Our trucks, of course, are compacted, but we've seen a little decrease in our landfill deliveries since we started this. Not a great amount, but we have seen some.
If the council has no objections, I'd like to ask Mr. Bray is sitting here. I'd like to ask him a question. Nobody has any objections?
No, but we can still ask Jerry some questions in a few minutes. Okay.
Mr. Bray, do you do any recycling, or do you have any of that part in your business, or?
Mayor, Council, thanks for the opportunity to speak tonight. Kind of an impromptu visit. When I saw it on the agenda, I thought I'd come in case there was a question. We have multiple cities that we're doing drop-off locations like y'all currently have. Typically, you see low participation. Y'all are seeing a high participation because you've got 7,000 or so, however so many houses. But when you still look at that on a per home basis, I don't know how many cubic yards it is, but it's still not near what you'd see at curbside, obviously. The typical problem with curbside is obviously the expense. We pick up curbside recycling in Royce City. It's the only city out of 54 that we service that has curbside recycling, and it's mainly driven by MRFs. Wherever the material recovery facilities are, which is typically metropolitan, then you have them, and anywhere you don't have them, you typically don't see it. So in East Texas, it's very, very sparse between curbside recycling. It can be done, as he said, it comes at a cost. There are some ideas that I would have that I might look at bringing back to the council related to that. I don't have any numbers at this point, but again, as he said, I didn't know that Choctaw was be willing to accept it when he had originally called and talked to our staff about some pricing. We're paying currently to get rid of it in McKinney ourselves out of Royce City, so it's an expense to us as well. But again, it's the commodity market's so up and down that could change. I mean, it might, when China picks up, you may see that change a little bit.
Do you feel curbside recycling is a good idea or a bad idea, or what?
It really goes back to the expense. You're probably going to have to do, typically what we see is people go, even in the Metroplex, whether it's Highland Park, Lake Highlands, those kind of places, you see people going from twice a week trash collection to once a week trash, once a week recycle. But then you got to go to poly carts. Then you get into the consequences that the elderly people typically have concerns related to poly carts not wanting to handle the size of them. But you've got a luxury service with twice a week collection. If you add a recycle day, it's a super luxury. Even the metropolitan cities, you don't see that.
Okay. Anybody else has any questions of him? Okay.
Thank you.
Jerry, I think Mr. Pickle has a question.
Yes, sir.
Are we ready, or have we requested that they increase the number of days per month that they pick up?
Yeah, what we've done now is we had kind of, when we got started, it was gonna be once a week. We found that immediately it was 2 times a week. We're calling them. I mean, as soon as we see that those things are ready to go. We know Collegiate and Farmers Market, every Monday, those have got to be picked up. I mean, so we're kind of realizing where our loads are and what's going on. So we're trying to improve that efficiency. And like I say, they're even trying to improve it on their end by buying another truck and stuff to service us better with. So, because we are their major contributor right now. So they're.
And so if by increasing the number of times they have to come, though, we're increasing our costs also, aren't we?
No, we're not paying them anything to come get it.
Okay.
Now, of course, we're not getting any, we're not getting any.
Right.
Any money back from the
Right.
recycle itself
Right.
either, but it's not costing us.
Okay. And you're saying that right now, when you said that we have not had but 3 instances of contaminants, does that mean that that the stuff that's going in there is recyclable, or are we just getting trash?
No, it means everything in there is recyclable. Those 3 instances was appliances. They don't want appliances. The PVC pipe has the polymers in it that they can't take, so it's not recyclable. And it's just educating the public as to what, and so we're trying to do that as well.
Do you have a feel for how much of it is people within the city that are dropping off recyclables versus people in the county that are dropping off their trash?
Well, we're not, like I say, we're not getting any trash. I think we're getting a lot of county recyclables, yes.
Okay, but how do you know if it's in a black bag? How do you know what's in there?
Because when we dump it at the recycle center, they hand sort up there.
Okay.
And that was the idea. If they pick up one of our containers and they dump it and it's full of trash, they're gonna tell us. And if it continues, then that jeopardizes our program. They have not found that. They're busting open the bags and it's good, clean, recyclable. Matter of fact, I mean, they're peeling labels off the cans. They're rinsing the milk jugs. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Okay.
The pride people are taking
Good.
in it.
And I don't mind, I don't have a problem with necessarily having the county, people in the county dropping off their recyclables, as long as they're not dropping off their trash.
Yeah.
Because I know that in my dumpster, I get stuff all the time
Right.
from county people.
Well, and we get the county, of course, we don't want to discourage recycling
Right.
either. Since it was a cost of the bins, I mean, that was our cost initially. We're gonna have to buy some more. Hopefully, we can get some of the commercial companies to buy into the program. I mean, that'll help too. But yeah, I mean, it's good. It's a good thing. We actually thought about going out and setting out one Saturday and just setting up shop, and when people drop off, get addresses. Not that we're trying to run them off, just
Right.
see what our participation within the city is versus the county. We haven't done that, but it's been talked about.
Thank you.
It doesn't cost us anyway when the county people drop it. I mean, it doesn't cost.
No,
Right.
I don't, that's what I
Besides,
said,
it's good for
I'm
the
okay with
environment,
that. Right.
Yeah, it just makes us good neighbors.
Dr. Clifford?
No question.
Mr. Jenkins? Ms. Lancaster? I'm extremely happy that we started this program. I know there was concern before we started, but I think the program is going very well. The only concern that I have is
The overflow.
it looks kind of ugly when it's overflowing. But I think if we can, particularly at the collegiate location, I think if we can have another container.
And it's on the way.
Okay.
And we've actually rigged a trailer up too, that where if it gets real bad, we're picking it up ourselves, putting it in the trailer, and then taking it to another bin.
And what Mr. Godwin suggested, do any of the council members have any problem if any institution wants to buy it and put it?
No, not at all.
No, I guess they understand though that it's not gonna have their logos on it.
Yeah, the people I've talked to understand
Okay.
that, yeah. They're gonna put up a sign at their site and
Right.
advertise their business and, participating in the recycle and,
Yeah.
it's, I'm glad people have come to us with that. I mean, that's,
They're doing it
I'm
out of the
surprised.
goodness of their
I
heart.
know. I'm shocked.
because especially they see
Why?
collegiate on a Monday morning,
Why are you shocked? It's
Well,
good.
I didn't think that it would take off as quick as it has.
Yeah.
And I don't mean I'm shocked that some businesses are wanting to do it, although I am sort of that too, come to think of it, but
All right.
good for them.
Thank you.
We don't need a motion on this item or anything. Okay. I was trying to get the meeting done fast today, but Mr. Pickle keeps.
Hi, we're gonna be through in an hour. We can skip this next one.
Item number 21, discuss and act on orders declaring unopposed candidates in council district 1, 2, 3 for May 7 general election to office, determining that no general election be held and directing that a certificate of election be issued to the unopposed candidate. Is there anything to discuss on this item?
And no, everyone knows that
Okay.
we have unopposed council districts 1, 2, and 3. We need to cancel the election in those districts.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve. And congratulations to whoever, all the people who are holding offices and coming new.
Are you gonna ask for a vote?
Yeah, absolutely. Second. Motion.
I thought you made a motion.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm waiting for a second.
He seconded, okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Me.
Okay.
Misery loves company. Come on.
Okay. That's okay, I mean, that's his own. On this token, I do want to say one thing, and that is, well, actually, it will not be an agenda item, so I'm going to refrain. Item number 22, consider and approve future events for the city council and city staff pursuant to resolution 2004-081.
Just want to mention that next Monday at noon downtown is a commemoration of the 100th anniversary of the fire. There will be activities between 12 and 1. Hopefully you already know about that.
Oh, and I have something. On the 26th of March, 2 days before our next meeting, that Saturday, we're going to have a trash off again for Lamar, Keep Paris Beautiful, Make Lamar County Shine at Home Depot, and would love to see any other council people there besides me. Please.
I think you'll be there.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, item number 23.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? No second? Okay.
Second. Less than an hour.